just defining all the project boundaries associated with the Bayview Reserve Dog Park. The 4 project boundaries that we've identified are project goals, project phases, project scope, and roles and responsibilities. Those are the 4 main ones. Sonia, would you like to start off with project goals?
Yeah, sure. So the project goals, I think, that are critical to this project would be to deliver on time, to be on budget, that is 165,000, and to be delivered safely. By the project boundary being on time, we are aware that the official opening is meant to be on the 2nd of December. So the PC date ideally would be 6th November, the milestone that's been given to us, and a planned handover 18th November, so that ensures by the 2nd of December we are on task.
Sounds good. Is that all that you'd like to add for project goals for now?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Hamid, do you want to talk about project phases?
Yeah, actually project phases is plannings that break the project into different phases with distinct characteristics and also specific start and end point.
So like
Which-
milestones within
Yeah.
the project?
which help clients to know about what they will receive
Yep.
after a specific time, and if their expectations meet or not.
Yeah, perfect. I guess I'll talk about roles and responsibilities now. So, roles and responsibilities are pretty important when discussing project boundaries, as there's a lot of employees that are a part of the project team, control group, led by the project manager. So obviously there's a lot of team members. Because there's so many team members, each team member has different occupations and different areas of expertise where they stick to. Just because obviously you want to hire team members from different like occupations, just because you're not going to have one person manage everything. You need a team to help you out. Now this is better to have a team to help you out rather than doing everything yourself. That way you can have better time management. You can have no clashing, no conflicts between schedules, and just ultimately it mitigates conflict between employees. And yeah, I guess that's what creates the boundaries between each team member. And finally, I guess we'll just talk about the project scope together.
Yeah.
Sonia, would you
Just like to add to the roles and responsibilities. So in this specific project, we have Michael Potts as the manager for Parks and Services, and Luisa Fernandez and Sam Raghi as part of the project control group, and David Foley as the green space landscaping. It's been awarded to Green Space, the contractors. So they have defined roles and responsibilities, and we as project managers are involved with this project. And
Jason Kenwood, the coordinator, ranger services.
Yeah. So we have very clear defined roles that we have, and we will let them do their bits, and we will play our role to play in this project governance structure. In terms of scope, which is also a project boundary, it has been set out at the very outset that the area that we're looking at for our project is about 3,000 square meters, which will be a fenced area, and the location has been specified at the Bayview Reserve. One part of the scope would be that these enclosures would be for all dogs and for small dogs, and they would be separated by fences. and the contract period would be over a period of 20 weeks. And you'd like to add?
Yeah, so
parts of the scope? Yeah.
other things that will be added: shelter, shade, water fountains, just standard things. And I want to clarify that project scope is a huge boundary within the project, because as soon as, like, before you start the project, you're meeting with key stakeholders, key sponsors, and you're essentially selling them your points, your key deliverables, in order to persuade them for their financial support. And if you're giving them these key deliverables, they expect those to be met. Hence why it creates that boundary, because you've made these promises to the stakeholders, which means you can't really go against that promise that you made and change all these key deliverables, such as shelters and water fountains and different enclosures and whatnot. Hence why it is a boundary.
I second that. Yeah, it is a good boundary, because then we protect ourselves, our project management team, from scope creep, because when things then start creeping into our scope, and then we can very clearly define that this was stated, this was not part of the scope, this is all that has been agreed, and so that is a very clear defined boundary. Anything other than that will have to be reviewed and approved, and we'll have to go through the whole entire process for funds, allocation, and all of that. So I agree, second that, yeah.
And the other important factor of the scope is access gates for maintenance. And
Landscaping.
yeah, also landscaping, seating and shelter and shade. Yeah, these
That's
are.
good. I think we covered everything really.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
How long was that? That's better. Alright. So this is essentially task 2. We're basically just discussing all the points that are in the project charter, things such as key stakeholders, the budget, project scope, constraints, assumptions, milestones, critical success factors, and we'll go into more depth with it. Firstly, I just want to talk about the project background. So the project is based in Rockingham, and it is essentially a dog park that we are building, based on particular specifications given to us. The reason for building this dog park is because of continued community engagement and requests for it. Hence the project going through. Sonia, did you want to talk quickly about the purpose of the project?
Yeah, sure. So this project, the Bayview Reserve Dog Exercise Area, was planned specifically for residents in the local area who had dogs but did not have a place to take their dogs, a safe place where they could be unleashed and they could have a good, reasonable, safe area for exercise, dog exercises. So the requirement for from the community through feasibility studies and repeated requests was for an off-leash dog park in the area. It would generate good, strong economic benefits to the community, including people who would come from the surrounding areas into Rockingham. It would benefit dogs, canine health, and socialization among dog owners. So that was the main purpose of this project.
Yeah, that's really nice. And about the project objectives, due to strong community demand, the objective of the project is to provide a secure off-leash area for dog exercises.
Yeah. Sounds good. All summed up. Alright, just quickly I just want to talk about the name of the project. So it's called the Bayview Reserve Dog Exercise Area. Our project sponsor is Sam Assad, and we are the project team, so myself, Jaden, Hamid, and Sonia. Very quickly, I also want to talk about the assumptions. So the assumptions within this project are that we have support from the outer community, our budget is stable, where there's enough resources available, we are adhering to regulations, There's good weather throughout the entire process. Minimal risks, and also I've got good weather there twice. Well, yeah, but I guess we'll move on to key stakeholders. Hamid?
Yeah, the key stakeholders of the project are Michael Potts, Manager Park Services, and Luisa Fernandez, Horticultural Technical Officer, Sam Braggy, Manager Engineering Services, Jason Kenwood, Coordinator Ranger Services, and these are all project control group. And David Flay, project manager of Green Space Landscaping, and he has a role of site supervisor.
We have a budget estimate of $165,000, and a couple of risks that I would like to point out would be insufficient budget, which is under the risk category of financial, and which is a low risk rating. We have another risk of excessive noise, which falls under the risk category of safety and health, and that too is a low risk rating. Increased traffic, possibly, also a safety health category, and considered a medium risk. We have another risk, dissent from local residents, which falls under a project management risk category and is a risk rating of low.
And about the project scope, 3,000 square meter fenced area, separation between all dogs and small dogs. Entrance is accompanied by 2 gates, seating and sand areas included, shelter and water fountains. Project budget is 165,000, and access gates for maintenance.
Perfect.
So our project charter would be incomplete without the project constraints. Some of the project constraints that we have are traffic management constraint. Due to vandalism, there was damage that was caused to cones and fences and that resulted in possible management where students could, anybody could just walk in through and come into the area. Also, that would be insecure for dogs. Smaller dogs would have been able to escape out. There was scheduled constraint where time impact would be impacted. Time would be impacted due to change order requirement and extra scope requirement. There could possibly be budget constraints where with topsoil needed to be filled, extra labor was required, extra good soil, and extra funds needed to be allocated to that space. Similarly, we could go through the project and have other areas where there would be need for change orders. Some other project constraints could possibly be unexpected weather, which could delay planned works, or compliance issues or legal adherence, where there could be a delay to apply for permits. And also another possible project constraint could be availability of resources.
Perfect. Alright, I guess I'll quickly finish up. Again, we have our key project team, it's the same as our key stakeholders. So we've got Michael Potts, Luisa Fernandez, Sam Raghi, Jason Kenwood, and David Foley. And also we have our critical success factors, which is what we consider what would make our project successful. What would we consider successful if all of these happened within the project and there was no hiccups or road bumps. So those are simply the project is delivered on time and safely. It's delivered within the budget, like we don't go over it. It follows all the project scopes that Hamid mentioned. And also it follows all the contractual agreements as stated when we had a meeting with stakeholders and sponsors. And finally, our milestone summaries. So we have our starting date, which is the 31st of July in 2023, and our finishing date on the 2nd of December. So about 6 or 7 months there. As you can see, first one is project manager being appointed, project charter finalised, project planning finished, then we can actually commence our project on the 25th of September. And then we also have the proposed practical completion and the planned handover. And these are basically all the key milestone points that we are following. Just shows that we have a roadmap